Welcome, 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 and a big congratulations to you all for joining this masterclass where we will share with you our world-class Icon4 Project Readiness Framework. Never before have we shared our crown jewels insights in an open forum and free of charge. Your host today for this session will be Tanya Harris, a behaviour performance consultant joining from the UK, and myself, Cindy Nicholson, CEO of Braintree, a global human transformation organisation. Together, we operate from each corner of the world to bring world-class proven tools to coaches and leaders just like you who want to expand their skills and experience and deliver exceptional outcome for their clients, whether they're in your organisation or external. The Braintree Leadership Academy includes modules that together provide a comprehensive suite of skills and certifications for our clients. And what you will hear about today is the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework that Tanya is going to walk you through. Something you might not be aware of is that between us, we have almost 100 years corporate experience. That's including the team that sit behind us as well. Sounds really scary when you think of it like that, but what it's really saying is that we have an incredible amount of experience that we can share with you. I am so passionate about the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework, and I wished I'd had access to this many years ago when I had a management consulting firm. We ran major projects in the financial services industry, but time and time again, we would be called in to salvage a project that had gone off the rails. And I think if only they had applied the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework, they would not have been in that situation. We've directed multi-million-dollar projects and multiple stakeholders, as well as running small to medium-sized projects, both across large organizations and startups. So the good news is that you're in safe hands. And what you're going to learn about today could be the difference between failure or success in any project. So get excited, because today you are going to walk away with a high-level overview of our 5-step process to ensuring project success that we have seen rewards for our clients time and time again. We have no doubt you are going to get great value from this. As a coach, project manager, consultant, however you choose to apply the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework, you will have the opportunity to qualify as an accredited practitioner and practice this in your own environments, and either ensure that you get the promotion that you're after or you increase revenues and income opportunities simply by following our guidance on these steps. So thumbs up if you're ready to increase your value as a consultant, coach, project manager. Yep, thought so. Now, shortly, I'm going to hand over to Tanya, who's the expert in sharing these amazing tools and how this framework is going to help you. I'll come back and join you at the end, but before I hand over, I strongly encourage you to stay engaged throughout this session, because we will have some more information and goodies to share at the end. Over to you, Tanya.
Thanks, Cindy, and welcome everyone. I'm really amazed by how many people have decided to join us today. Thank you so much. So now you are here because you're keen to see how you can increase not only your income stream, but also accelerate your success. So in this webinar, I am going to introduce you to the Icon4 Readiness Framework, which is a proven system and set of tools that can maximize your impact when working with an individual or with a company. So at the end of this webinar, my promise to you is that you will walk away with a clear understanding of, first of all, the foundations of the Icon4 Readiness Framework. Secondly, how we have applied this to our clients to help them overcome major issues using the framework. And then finally, how you can apply to get certified in using the Icon4 framework to skyrocket your earning potential. So if that sounds what you're looking for, put your thumbs up, so we know that everybody's with us.
Yes, we're on track. This is great.
Thanks, guys. Okay, let's begin with the foundation of the Icon4 system and framework. Now, this framework embodies a set of processes and tools that helps individuals, teams, and companies obtain absolute clarity on what they need to do to achieve their goals, whether it's launching a new project of any size and complexity, or executing a merger and acquisition, or simply focusing on increasing customer relationships. This powerful tool is a game changer. So let's have a look at what it is. The Icon4 Project Readiness Framework is based on a combination of high-touch direct experiences as well as our research and testing. Combined, this brings a unique framework that is unparalleled to anything else in the world. Now, the Icon4 Readiness Framework focuses on 4 main business frames that delve into the extent of which these frames are present or not present, and as a result, will proactively determine whether an individual or team or company will struggle to achieve specific tasks and outcomes within various stages of a project. So let's take a look at the 4 frames. The first one is investigation. When the frame of investigation is used, then teams and individuals make quantifiable improvements and quality decisions by tapping into the knowledge and skills of the workforce. They focus on continuous improvement by addressing the root cause of problems and address issues through questioning and feedback cycles. When we see this happening, we can quickly understand that individuals are not only operating in this specific frame, but they also feel comfortable doing so. A company who operates in the investigation frame would be Shopify. Now, Shopify have developed a piece of technology that makes e-commerce better for everyone, from business who can develop their own online stores no matter what size, to customers who can purchase products at the click of a button. Now, they solved a problem that improved people's lives and grew small business. Now, let's move to the second frame, which is collaboration. Now, when the collaboration frame is used, the magic starts to happen as teams and individuals who leverage the skills within this frame really begin to trust one another, as they believe that the cultivation and management of interpersonal skills and relationships are critical to success. And they encourage high levels of collegiality, openness, and respect, and support and encourage both personal and professional development so that people can be the best they can be. Now, a company who operates in this frame is the Virgin Group. So Richard Branson believes that employees come first, and his corporate philosophy is that people are our greatest asset. In his opinion, employees should be given the top priority, and this is an organization that operates in the collaboration frame. The third frame is orchestration. Now, when the orchestration frame is used, individuals and teams achieve results by setting and following standards and processes in order to achieve their outcomes. So they follow things that are set and in place. So for a moment, consider an orchestra and the actual conductor. The musicians follow the orchestra's instructions, who guides them exactly when to come in at exactly the right time. In other words, what skills need to be executed given the task at hand. And then everyone follows their role and is committed to playing that piece of music to perfection. And this is how it works in the workplace. When orchestration is in place, everyone knows their role and they have the skills to execute tasks. Now, companies who operate in this frame are banking and financial institutions, and they operate in this frame because they have to comply with legislative bodies and they need the workforce to follow certain standards and processes in order to mitigate any risk and errors. Now, finally, the fourth frame is motivation. This frame relates to motion and action that teams and individuals take. Think of it as moving forward and progressing. Now, when the frame of motivation is used, people have high levels of energy, willingness, and confidence when responding to demands of the moment. So they encourage creativity when taking on new opportunities, and they display that persistence and determination that is required to move forward in challenging times. So when you've got a workforce that has high levels of motivation, they're resilient, they're risk takers, and they can bounce back from any setbacks. An example of a company who operates in the frame is Apple. They took great gambles and believed that risk is uncomfortable and certainly generates uncertainty. Yet when leaders push the boundaries and encourage dreams, they embody others to stretch and take risks too. And only when you take risks can you build momentum. After all, progress usually isn't linear. So let's summarize the frames. You can see that under each frame sits specific skill sets, which all refer to specific elements that will show up or do not show up in individuals' behaviors and skill sets based on several factors. And this brings us to our second promise that we made to you, how we have helped one of our clients overcome major issues using the Icon4 framework. For the sake of privacy, I'm going to refer to this client as John Doe & Co. John Doe & Co was a highly successful IT company based out of New Zealand, whose clients included 70% of the top global banks. They were a young company, just 2 years old, and were oozing with entrepreneurs who were highly driven, executive, dynamic. You get the picture? Now, if you've ever watched Billions, love that show, imagine that environment, but on steroids. This was them. Anyway, they called me in to help them as they were having some struggles. And as I walked into the room and looked at the faces of all the board members, it told me a lot. And that was they had a problem and they were looking at me to solve it and fix it for them. So raise your hands if this sounds familiar. Have you ever been there? That's great. Okay, you're all following me. We're on the right track. Okay, with this backdrop, I had a good idea of what I might be walking into. Perhaps a room bursting with egos and maybe confidence. Now, one thing you will learn very quickly when using the Icon4 Readiness framework is that you can quickly read a room and ascertain problems before the meeting even begins. So imagine you were with me as I walked into that room and looked at their faces. Immediately, I could see they were looking at me to wave that magic wand and give them all the answers for a quick fix that would relieve them from the immense stress that they were currently under. And by the way, I could feel in the room they had a big problem and they were looking at me to fix it. Raise your hands if you've been in a familiar situation. Fantastic. We're on the same page. Let's take another look at John Doe & Co. because they were about to lose their largest client and they could not figure out why. But more importantly, how were they going to salvage the relationship? So let's put this into context because losing the client was a double hit to them. Firstly, the monetary component would mean they stood to lose millions. But secondly, they also recognized reputation in that banking industry as a fast-growing company would set them back to zero. So any further potential of customer loss was high risk for them. So as they stared at me, I could feel how important this meeting was to them. And all I could think of was this magic wand that I had to pull out. So we went to discuss on the details of their big problem. And by the end of the meeting, I could quickly ascertain that they had one huge fundamental issue. They were operating in a different frame than their customers. And this was causing several critical issues that was having a direct impact on their ability to serve their customer. The consequences of this incongruent frame were low levels of customer satisfaction, high levels of staff turnover because they were feeling pressured by the customers, and therefore, that rolled onto the third issue, which was employee engagement levels were beginning to hit rock bottom. So if any of you had this kind of problem or this conversation where you've been working with organizations where there's an actual disconnect between the values and culture of the organization and their clients, give me a thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, a few of you put your thumbs up. So what really happened in that room and in that meeting? How was I able to reach such a powerful conclusion in just one meeting that would ultimately save their company? Well, the answer is I used my knowledge of the 4 frames and what we previously discussed. and the 16 elements that underpinned the analysis too, what others have called mind reading the situation. Now, whilst my experiences told me that there were three main problems, at such a critical stage for the company, it was imperative that the problems I had determined needed to be proven to the executive team. And not only that, but to provide a pathway to get them on track. So by implementing the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework, we could identify, clarify, and measure the challenges and provide evidence as to what they needed to do to solve the problem. So let me ask you to consider this question for a moment. What frames do you think John Doe were operating in? And what frames do you think their clients, the bank, were operating in? Just consider that for a moment. Now, with the Icon4 Readiness Framework, here is where the magic comes in. We delved into each element that resided under each frame and had John Doe uncover the elements that they valued the most. And as a consequence, they could see that these were their default frames and elements that they were predominantly operating in. So when we looked at John Doe, who are an entrepreneurial company, they were operating in the motivation frame and elements of the investigation frame, and were heavily using the elements of action, change, and resilience. So the elements of action are the workforce were empowered to make decisions, take action, and initiative. The elements of change meant the workforce were open and responsive to change and empowered to be creative and bring ideas to life. And the element of resilience meant they were responsive to change and displayed resilience in a can-do attitude, even when things did not go as planned. They were not using the elements for orchestration, such as structure, alignment, results, and accountability. So structure is where clarity around roles and responsibilities and reporting relationships reside. Alignment is where actions are in sync with the priorities of the executive team and the values of the organization. Results are where systems and processes are followed in order to achieve tasks. And accountability is where clear expectations and a sense of ownership for task completion takes place. So when we had them dig deeper and evaluate what elements their clients tended to operate in, for the bank, they operated under the orchestration frame, the very frame that they used the least. So once we uncovered this through the Icon4 Readiness Framework, John Doe were able to launch clear plans to change key customer-facing business areas and how they interacted and serviced their clients in order to meet their expectations and needs. So when it came to any customer-facing activity, they focused on the drivers of orchestration, and therefore they had to learn the skills which resided behind that. This simple tool, Icon4, not only saved the contract, but they also became one of the top providers in their industry and are still growing by implementing and developing the skills associated with the orchestration element. And this allowed them not only to increase customer satisfaction, but as a result, staff stopped quitting because they were not feeling the pressure of the disconnect with their clients, and employee engagement rose as a natural result of staff feeling more connected to their clients. They did not feel that they were swimming against a current. Instead, communication and processes had a flow. This is just one example of how the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework clearly uncovers the key areas that are impacting a company's ability to reach their business objectives and goals. So for the sake of time, I want you to think of a project that you either currently are part of or have worked on in the past, and consider the different phases of the project and what frames each step needs. For example, when you are starting a project, you want people focused on the investigation frame. When you are executing, you need people to then move to the frame of orchestration. And when you need to include stakeholders and build trust, you need to move to collaboration. So no matter where you are in a project, you're kind of walking in and out of the different frames and different elements in order to smoothly execute every single task to the highest levels of success. The Icon4 project readiness systems and tools are designed not only to uncover what frames and elements need to be present during the various phases of the project, but also to teach you how to measure how much people are leveraging the attributes of each element in order to achieve goals. As an Icon4 accredited implementer, you will be trained to identify when each element needs to be used in order to meet the goals of each task to achieve higher levels of execution success. So here is a 5-step process that we would teach you. It's a proven multi-phased approach that will help you improve the way projects are executed through a focused, purpose-driven development pathway that adapts to every leader and team because it's unique in every application. The process follows the following steps. Number 1, discover. The pre-discovery phase focuses on critical objectives of a project by identifying specific skill sets that are crucial for the successful implementation of each stage of the project. Step 2, identify. This involves gathering feedback to identify the current strengths and challenges of a leader in a team that supports or threatens the success within each phase of the project. In other words, the default mode and priority of individuals and how they need to be strengthened. The third phase, evaluate. Once the discovery and the identification steps are complete, you are now furnished with valuable insights into the strengths and challenges of your team. At this stage, it is crucial to analyze the findings and map these back to the team members and assess their ability to successfully execute each task. Further, this provides the foundation for proactively developing solutions and prioritizing development work that will have the most beneficial impact towards achieving goals. There are 2 major components under this step, and that is A, assessing the current skills, and B, undertaking a detailed review of the impact of the results, which takes us to step 4. Step 4 is link. Once the first 3 steps are complete, you now link the results to the business outcomes obtained during step 1, the discovery phase. This provides you with 2 valuable pieces of information that your client or company will love. First of all, it will provide a crystal clear picture of what needs to be developed to meet the needs of the project. And secondly, it will show the company the impact of doing nothing. In other words, what will be the impact on certain stages of project execution if these skills are not developed? Now, according to Forbes, up to 70% of projects fail. So the Icon4 project readiness framework for coaching and developing is essential to ensure any actions are taken and people are accountable for their own work in order to reduce this risk of failure. So the final step is development. This is where you guys come in, right? Now that you have linked the skills to outcomes, you are ready to work with your clients to prioritize development in the areas that you are going to have the highest impact on the company's bottom line. And what's more, at this stage, you're going to get buy-in. The Icon4 Project Readiness Framework provides an ongoing analysis, development, and adaptation system which measures progress based on real business objectives. Now, our clients span government agencies to global business to smaller organizations who have used these tools to turn around their success and reduce the risk of becoming another statistic of the project failure rates. At the start of this webinar, we said to you that we're going to make a promise to you, and that is to share how you can use this system to accelerate your income using the Icon4 readiness system because it takes your clients on a journey that will enable them to deliver successful projects time and time again. Now, the fact is that most companies struggle to execute projects, with many failings running over time, budget, or actually impacting the quality. So what if you could help companies reduce the risk of this happening by implementing the Icon4 Project Readiness Framework, where you could identify the likelihood of success within each stage of the project and provide a development pathway that will allow leaders and teams to sell through each stage of a project. And not only that, you can show a clear return on investment with ongoing measurements to prove the value that you are bringing to the business. Using Icon4 will provide various revenue streams driven from pre-evaluation strategy sessions, running assessments, running training, individual, group coaching and self-directed coaching, and accessing online education materials, pulse assessments to measure change and ROI, 16 elements of online courses, strategy debrief sessions, etc. Now, that's what I have to offer you today. I'm now going to hand back to Cindy. Thank you, Cindy.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. I'm absolutely blown away with this framework and that amazing case study that you shared. And I know from speaking with you and working with you that that's actually just one example of many who've benefited from this. But most importantly, I want to let you all know how you can bring this to your practice and workplace so that your clients can benefit just like others. To use this framework, you need to understand and undertake the relevant training. The good news is that we've got our next practitioner certification course starting on the 26th of May. This is a self-paced online course with assessments, but we encourage you to work within a particular time frame because we're going to support you the whole way through that journey to your certification. After completing that practitioner course, you will become a qualified Icon4 performance coach. This is going to entitle you to many, many things. First and foremost, become part of a community of qualified Icon4 performance coaches. You'll be fully qualified in using the framework in your own environments and with your own clients. You'll be qualified in that 5-step process that Tanya's just spoken through. You'll be able to apply every component and tool to real life clients, and you'll be licensed to use that framework for 12 months, which will give you annual renewals and will update you on the knowledge as well. You'll get a digital certification on completion, so you can use that across social media, and we back you up on that qualification, and you can access group coaching both during the course and after you graduate. Now, let's just talk about price. The registered retail price for this practitioner certification course is $5,999 US. And as Braintree is the Asia Pacific exclusive partner, we've negotiated a heavy discount, which qualifies you for a special discounted rate of just $4,500 US. Yep. So that's about 25% discount. We're really happy to be able to bring that to you today. But this is for a limited time only because our cohort starts on the 26th of May. And this is going to happen until all places are filled. And by the way, we only take 10 students at a time, and I'll explain why shortly, or obviously before we reach that particular date. Now, we've got a number of payment options that are flexible. You can either pay up front or you can take our flexible payment plan, which will enable you to spread the payments over 4 equal parts. I guarantee that this is an investment that you will have paid off with a fraction of the revenue that you get from your first client. We know for a fact that you're getting much more value than $5,999, but we want to give you a price point that's reasonable and gets you on the road to reaping many, many more benefits. During the practitioner certification program, you'll be assigned a qualified coach, and because of our commitment to giving you one-on-one support, we will have limited number of places available for the next intake on the 26th of May. Now, we've already got 5 people signed up for this program, so that means we have 5 places remaining. So that deal that I've offered you is relevant for those 5 places, either when those 5 places are taken up or by 26th of May, that will no longer carry on. So last time we ran this, we were actually fully booked well in advance. So I really encourage you to jump on and grab this opportunity while you have the chance. This webinar is the first one that we've run to promote the next intake. Yep. So we already had a backlog of people waiting to take up this particular course. So we've filled those 50% places already. And we've got 2 more webinars like this coming up over the next couple of weeks. Then we're going to be fully booked. It's also important to note that we pride ourselves on the framework and the professionalism of our performance coaches. And just as our framework believes in ensuring continued learning, so we have a belief in continuing education and maintaining skills. So after you graduate, you're going to receive ongoing monthly support coaching to answer any of the questions you have from the field to support you in your practice. The practitioner certification also comes with an optional extra bonus, and that is the business development package. The package includes templates and guidelines to help you on your journey to generate leads, to closing opportunities, and to delivering your Icon4 project readiness framework. Wow, wow, wow. We're all very, very good experts in what we do, but creating opportunities, creating lead generations, it's often an area that we can all struggle in. So we want to package that up and build it so you've got an end-to-end solution. Now, that business development package is normally an extra $999, and it contains email templates, landing pages, social media templates, and even proposal templates where you just simply insert your logo. It's all there for you as a wraparound for a complete package. So honestly, what you're getting is valued at almost $7,000, but for a one-off price only, we'll bundle that practitioner certification with the business development package at half that price for a total of $5,000. And again, payable upfront or over our 4 equal part payment plan. So just to summarize, that's 25% discount on the practitioner certification and 50% discount on the business development package. So just to recap, this opportunity is going to give you 100 years of insight and awareness that you can use at any time, and it's backed up with the assessment tools and reports. And to give you an example, with your first client, your revenues could be upwards of $37,500 for a typical client. If you'd like to understand more about the qualification, please book in for an assessment conversation with us, or you can just enroll through the links that we provide to you. So that's it from me, and that's it from Tanya. I hope that we've given you all the information. I hope you're as excited as we are about this package, and we look forward to seeing you on the 26th of May or in our next sessions. Thanks so much. Have a great day.